we're back again. Yes, don't adjust your shets. I know it's your shets. That's new. Good start. I finally done one. Connor's going to be so pleased. Yes, don't adjust your sets. It's a Thursday, but it's still a fans forum. So we are absolutely messing with your heads. We've done that for many reasons. The biggest reason is because obviously England are playing on Friday. And the second biggest reason is that Connor doesn't want to do a show on a Friday when I'm not there because that's too much. So as a result, we're here on Thursday. But that's great because where I come from, we don't say our T's and H's very well. We would call it Thursday. So it's the Thursday Fans Forum and it's still lovely alliteration. So that's all good. That makes me feel good. How are you doing today, John Neville?
Yeah, very good, Barry. Thanks. Not bad at all.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming on. And Mr. Commode, nice to see you as well. You had me a little bit worried for your safety, but glad to see you are safe and well.
Thank you, Barry. And good to be on. Looking forward to the show and that. And I am completely safe.
Fantastic. This is what we like to hear. And of course, we have, it's been a bit of a stranger for the last week or so, but it's good to have her back on. We needed somebody to talk some sense. So we went for Charlie. So how are you doing today, Charlie?
I'm good, thank you. I've first day off in a while from the Euros, so it's good to be here. It's also nice to see everyone congratulating me already in the comments on my outstanding predictions performance yet again. We'll get to that later, though, don't worry.
We will definitely be talking about that a little bit later on. But yes, absolutely leading the way and showing everybody how it is done. Well, we have got loads to talk about. And again, we're going to try to get done for before 8 o'clock so that people can watch France because we're going to want to see how they get on after they surprised us last week. But before we get on to the main topic, the thumbnail picture, some sort of breaking news, I think, that's just been seen on Twitter is that Martha Harris has obviously gone to Birmingham. Now, we know that she'd left. We had a little show about Martha going. I was just intrigued because speaking to a couple of other people, they thought she might have gone off to America or done something a bit different. How do we feel about that? Do we think that's a good move for Martha going forward? Just interested in your brief views on that one. So, John, what do you think? Good move for Martha Harris?
Is that me, John, or?
Yes.
We've done one of those again, haven't we? Right, so you're going to be Nev and you're going to be Johnny K. All right, so Nev, what do you reckon?
For me.
I think it's quite a good move for Martha. It's obviously not too far away for her, and probably I think she'll do very well down there, obviously in the Championship now. But I think that's probably very good decision from her to go there.
Very good. And Johnny K?
Yeah, I agree with John. I think it's a good move for her. Obviously, as we discussed at the time, she wasn't getting much game time last season. I think it was fairly inevitable. And I just wish her all the best. And I think it's a good move for her.
Very good. And Charlie, what's your thoughts?
I think it's an interesting move. It's Birmingham, isn't it? It's Birmingham,
yes.
I think, I mean, obviously she wants to play regular football, doesn't she? I think probably, I wondered if maybe like a Leicester or a Liverpool might have scooped her up. I think we got her from Liverpool, didn't we? And maybe perhaps she's been injury prone, I think, quite a lot recently. That's maybe stifled a little bit where she can go. But I think it's a good signing for Birmingham to get her. If she can stay fit, that's a really good signing for them in a season where really they need to be getting straight back up, don't they, to the WSL? Otherwise, it's increasingly tricky. So probably good move all round. Game time for her and a really experienced and quality signing for Birmingham, I would say, as well.
And possibly the rights have her to maybe help them promote it as well. So, yeah.
Fabulous. Good stuff. And as we see here, John reckons it's a great move for our Ginger Ninja. Love that. And good luck to her. She's been superb. And she's done great stuff for the club, so I really hope that she goes on and does well, and who knows, maybe helps to get Birmingham back into the WSL. Also great, whilst we're talking about, just before we come to new signings, good to see Lanzel back in the chat. Lovely to see you there. Charlie, apparently there's some dance moves going on here. We might have to recreate that later.
Easy, fine.
You think about the music, we'll bang that on. Not a problem. And also, we've got some hate. Would you believe it? We don't often get hate. Might be because it's a Thursday, but look at this. This is outrageous.
Slander.
I'm pretty certain. I mean, I'm just going to check. I know that we're going to be putting it out there for you. I'm not even second. Connor's higher than me, but yet apparently I rigged the league. It's outrageous. Typical. And look at that. TJ's in with him. It's outrageous. You people. Honestly. So let's move on to the thumbnail and the big news for the week, really, which is, of course, that Manchester United have announced their second official signing of the season. And that is Rachel Williams. She comes in. She's 34 years old and she's an attacker. So that's the second attacker that we've signed. Still linked with more. Still not hearing too much about the defenders, though. So first things first, before we worry too much about other positions, Rachel Williams, just in general, we'll go with Johnny Kay, I think, on this one. You can kick off. What's your thoughts on Rachel Williams coming to the club?
Yeah, well, I think it was obviously the worst kept secret because it's obviously been reported, particularly if you're on Twitter, and that for a good number of weeks now. So, yeah, but it's no surprise that she's joined us. Obviously she's not like got the best goal scoring record, but you can see why Mark might fancy having her. Obviously, when you look back on that overall in terms of our signings with Leon and with Bingham and the kids Paris, when you think back to last season, what was it that cost us? Mostly, it was the draws that killed us not finishing off our chances in games and that kind of thing. So clearly he's identified that's an area where we need strengthen up front, that kind of thing. Maybe Williams might not have been the ideal player you want if you want to compete for titles and that, but she's joining us, so we should definitely support her. And it's ironic that with the fixtures that we're going to be playing Tottenham first game, so maybe she could be a hero straight away, perhaps. But I think she's obviously a good player in that, and and she adds experience to the squad as well. And hopefully she can do well for us.
Absolutely. And great little thing being put in here about potential other signings, and then immediately you lose it. So that never works very well. There it was. Lovely. TJ, good lad. He's thrown here the MLT to Nkara Garcia, and then it's a good transfer window. I don't know who MLT is. Maybe it's like a BLT sandwich. That's what I'm thinking. I'm starving. Mayo, lettuce and tomato. That sounds good, and I'm a meat eater.
That's not the French centre half, is it?
No, it might be. What's Nkara? Yeah,
Maya Letizia, isn't it? Maya Letizia was at LSV. She was at LSV last night with the United girls. She was there. And obviously,
nice. Well, there you go.
Well, if you want a good night out.
Absolutely. When the Dutch are in town.
Seems like Charlie's throwing out the rumours there. So there we go. Maya Letizia, watch this space. Out with the United girls. So we shall see. Charlie, while you're on there, let us know what's your thoughts. Rachel Williams coming to the club. A good signing from Mark?
She's in an impossible position. Rachel Williams is what I'll say first. I follow a fella on Twitter called Paul Wheeler. He does quite a lot for Coventry United women. And he said she's in an impossible position because Man United are the sort of team who the fans want them to sign stars and probably should be signing stars, but aren't investing. And the fans are kind of aware of that. So Rachel Williams is almost in an impossible position where she wants to come in and do a job, but she's not really the signing that everyone wants based on what we want to happen next with regards to the progression of the club. So it makes it really tough for her. For me personally, at the age she is, if Man United are going to come knocking on your door, why not? Is first and foremost, because it's Man United. My worry, I would still be worried, and this isn't about her. This is about if Russo got injured or, God forbid, left. I think we're in big trouble, just from a general attacking point of view. That would be my worry. And that's not a Rachel Williams issue. That's just an attack. Like, we've got 1,000 attackers, but none of them that we've got in so far are going to be able to fill her boots if something happens. So that would be my worry. I think she'll work incredibly hard. I've no doubt about that, and I completely believe her when she said that in her interview when she was first signed, that you can see on the social media accounts for United. she's an extra body, isn't she? She's depth if we need to bring her in really an option in Conti Cup games and bits and pieces where perhaps Russo would have had to have played because there was just nobody else, because Martha Thomas was having to play out wide and she was injured at points as well. But I will say she's not going to take us to the next level. I don't think there's any point in probably saying that she is, because she isn't, when you look at what we're competing with. But she's going to put on a Man United shirt, and for me, that means we get behind her completely. And I would love it if in that first fixture against Spurs, if she comes on and scores the winner, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just?
And we might find like Tottenham really struggled generally to score goals. They defended brilliantly, Spurs. That's why they were so high up, because they didn't leak. They didn't have a leaky defence, apart from when they played us and lost 3-0. So you could argue the same with Leon. She might not have looked prolific because the opportunities weren't there. There weren't the players providing them, whereas we've got players who will provide them in Ella, in Martha Thomas, in Leah, in Jackie, in Vilda, in Katie's Ella. So perhaps if you look at it in that way, she will provide perhaps more than we're expecting. But on paper, probably not take us to the next level.
That's fair enough. And talking of the next level, here's the next level sandwich: mutton, lettuce, and tomato. Not sure about that one. But is that mutton dressed up as lamb, or is it just literally?
Why can't you just have mozzarella?
Oh, that would have been good. Mozzarella, lettuce, and tomatoes. See, Johnny K, he's taking out the food there. Love that. So, little question for you there, Charlie, just to finish off with that one. Lanzo's asked for you. Do you think Mark's looking at a front two, or maybe going direct next season?
Do you know what? If you play a front two, because I wanted to see that a little bit with Brune, if she was ever fit this year, I thought we might see that. But if you play front two, he's got all these attacking midfielders. Like who's not playing? So if you're playing two in the middle, if you're playing Katie, she's captain, she'll start, won't she? And then you're going to have Jackie or Vilda, and then you need your two wide players if you're going 4-4-2. Is Ella not playing? Is Ella 2 not playing? Or are we playing her out of position? I don't think so. I still think he's playing one up top, and he's playing 3 in the middle and 2.
You could have 2 just behind the 2, maybe.
You could, but then if you look at our defence as it is, are we massively exposed there? That's me going beyond probably what Lanzell's asking, but I think she would just be back up, and I think she's probably quite happy with that. Rachel Williams were talking about. I don't think we'll go 4-4-2 based on the rest of the players that we've got. If you look at how stacked our midfield is, and I know you want players fighting for position, but it would be ridiculous the number of our central midfielders that wouldn't be playing. That are super talented. So I would say probably no, he's going to play one up top. I think.
There you go. That's your answer, Lanzel. And Nev.
Fact. It's not a fact. I don't know, Mark. You said that like it was a fact. Just me guessing. Like fantasy football.
Say it was a fact. So that was your thoughts. But there we go. Good stuff. Nev, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it seems like a slightly maybe underwhelming signing, but I agree with what everybody else has said. Really, it's we need that depth, and it may be suggesting with the amount of attackers that are coming in that there might be somebody that could possibly be on the verge of leaving. But as regards the squad depth, and I think get another experienced attacker in, it can only be a good thing, really. I would say.
Absolutely. So I think all the things you mentioned there all make sense, and it's quite reasonable. But we're not getting any. We've got these links. People are talking about Tunkara. Maya Letizia has obviously just been mentioned, but there doesn't really seem to be anything like majorly concrete. We haven't made any signings. I know that we're waiting for the right moment, and that we're waiting for the club to advise. And of course, we've still got until September to actually get these signings. We forget that. It's still well over a month for us to be able to do that. But are you at all concerned that at the moment everything that we seem to be linked with is about attacking, and that there's not any defence in? And what I would add to that is that there's obviously the rumours at the moment about Kirsty Smith potentially leaving the club. That would be another defender gone. Are we not just a little bit light on the defence side? And do we not think maybe we need to have a bit more focus on that? What's your thinking on that, Johnny K?
Yeah, I do think we're a bit light in defence. Obviously, we got rid of Diane Caldwell as well. I do think I mean, my opinion is that if you gain, if there's rumours about Kirsty Anderson, we mentioned Letitia being in with the girls and that, is that a sign that if we are prepared to let these players go, that we're confident getting deals in potentially? That's what I would perhaps say. But yeah, it is a concern. I mean, we haven't been linked with that many defenders and that. I don't know much about this French one that we've been linked with. Obviously, I think she played the other day and did well, but I just think that we do need defensive cover most definitely, and I think we really need one more forward like Lucy Garcia then, and then I want us to sign a couple of defenders. And I think if we do that, and then you keep your key players like Ona, like Russo, Zelen, people like that, Jackie, then I think you've got a good squad there to potentially challenge for the top 3 next season. I think that's what it's about. But yes, we do need to get a couple of defenders in because, like you said, we are looking pretty light at the moment.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts, Charlie? We need some defenders. Where are they going to come from? What's the thinking? Why is it we're not hearing the rumours that we are about the front line? Why is it more quieter?
I'm not worried that we're signing some attackers because I think we've all talked a lot about the right hand side. Clearly, Kirsty Hansen is not what Mark's after, so which for whatever reason. So it's all right that we're doing that. But yeah, it is. You would assume, because I don't think in women's football we're at that point yet where players are forcing moves because they haven't got that sort of commercial power and whatever else it might be to force a move out. So clearly they're letting Kirsty go. I think I think it'd be a good move for Kirsty Smith, I think, because she's barely played this season. 3 games? She's 28. She's Scottish international, and the Scotland manager doesn't mind dropping them. Kirsty Hansen hasn't played, and she's been dropped from the side, hasn't she? So wants to play, and West Ham would be a good move for her. But for her to go, to not retain Caldwell, knowing that obviously Mannion's making really good moves, if you've seen her on her Instagram bits and pieces, it looks really positive. But she's only just started jogging in the pool. And Millie looks okay, but you actually don't know. We don't have still a timeline on what that means. And thought, we don't know what space she's going to be in because it can sometimes, if people, like she struggled, didn't she, in that game, and if that continues for Norway, that might take a little bit of a recovery period for her mentally. So we're incredibly light at the back. Loads of goalkeepers, more than them. I can count on my hands. But yeah, I feel like there must be a plan. Otherwise, I agree with Connor. You keep Kirsty Smith, wouldn't you? Surely, if there's no one coming in, there must be. And if they got Tunkara and Myla Tizier, that's really good. They would be 2 really, really good signings. It would strengthen the back line. But even on their own, I would think we would still need depth because at the moment we've got Hannah and we've got Honor. I want to say Ona because Ella Toon says Ona, I think, and Honor. And if one of them gets injured, well, then you've got Myla Tizier. But then you've still got, there's no backup after that. So, and that's if we don't even know if she's coming. That's just a rumour, isn't it? So I'm a little bit concerned, but just because we're so light at the moment, so I can't imagine that our coaching staff are that. I don't want to say stupid. I don't mean stupid. Like they're not thinking, oh, we don't need anyone in the back line. We quite clearly do, and I can't imagine they're going to march us into the new season without having made 2 or 3 defensive reinforcements. So I'm concerned, but I kind of am pretty sure they're going to do something about it. But hopefully, just good signings is what we want.
Okay, and John, you worried at all, Mr. Neville, about these players not being linked so much in the defensive side?
Yeah, it'd certainly be, I think, very daft to let Kirsty Smith go. She can sort of playing seen her sort of playing both full-back positions at times, and she's had her injury problems, of course, but been very reliable other than that most of the time and useful player. But with obviously rumours of her going to West Ham, I think it was. And then there's still obviously the question mark with Honor. So with that and the injuries with Mannion and Turner still coming back, it we could do with getting some reinforcements defensively, certainly for the start of the season. So yeah, a bit concerned about that. Hopefully, we'll hear something sooner rather than later about defenders. So it's fullbacks seems to be the main concern. I would think that we need to get sorted sharpish.
Yeah, there's a bit in the comments as well. A couple of people talking about Rachel Daly being out of contract, and obviously she'd be brilliant, wouldn't she? But I also can't imagine that at her point in her career, where she's banging them in America consistently well, is going to come and play potentially second fiddle in the back line to Honor maybe or to Hannah. There's also, I think, I'm not like a superstar on the devs. Is it Niamh Murphy? There's a lot of positive chat about her. So she could be someone they're maybe will start to bring in. But again, I wouldn't have thought as a solution to us not having a back line, because I know our devs are brilliant. There's been lots of talk about, well, let's bring some of them in, which I agree with. But I think the jump is massive. So to bring them in and just expect them to do the job of a seasoned pro is probably not the way to go. But I do wonder if Niamh Murphy might get a little bit of a go this season. But yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And Johnny Kane. Sorry, go on, John.
Yeah, so that comment was it from James in the comments about Rachel Daly being a Leeds fan? So was Leah Galton.
She's not.
Sports said, well, she says her and her dad follows Man United now, though. That's what I'm sure she said in her podcast. But yeah,
diehard Leeds fan.
Family of diehard Leeds fans, and she's a Leeds fan. So there you go.
We're gonna have to change the song. It's gonna have to be she never gives the ball away. It's gonna have to be she needs a better team. Something like that. I'm gonna be thinking about that. Whilst you do, I'm gonna think about that whilst you answer this question on the screen, Johnny K.
Yes.
With Lewin and Ruben, Paris and Garcia, who does the right wing belong to? If we get all of them in for the start of Tottenham, I think he also means for the season in general, not just for that one game. So I think it'll be the whole thing. If we get them in, ready for Tottenham, who would you have out of those three? And not forgetting, of course, we've still got Martha Thomas and Kirsty Hancock.
I think he'll probably go Paris personally, because I think she's probably the one now in that position. As you got to see from what I've seen, she can float between wings. Obviously, like you mentioned, that Thomas has played there, and I've not seen much of her due to injury in that, but I think she might have more of a strike and that kind of thing. So for me, if it's out of the three of them, I'll probably say Paris will be the one that plays on the right.
So you would pick that. One-word answers for the other two. Charlie, which name would you choose?
I would choose Garcia.
Garcia. And John?
I think I'd go Paris, from my experience.
I think it will be Paris. But I would go personally as a non-expert Garcia.
Fair point. Sang, I really appreciate you telling me this, because I went into my swimming world weigh-in today, and that certainly did not tell me that I was super light. So you made me feel really good. So this is why I like you. So, good job. We love it. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a really good one actually, and we've mentioned about our fixtures. Are we going to be there for Tottenham first game, Spurs? How do we think we feel about that as an opening fixture? Because some might argue they were our closest rivals for potentially top three and, of course, fourth towards the start of the season. They did drop off a little bit, but they've made a lot of signings early. They were the leaders in that respect. Of course, they tied down Ashley Neville. So clearly, up the Nevs again. What's our thoughts in terms of that game against Spurs? Do we think that's going to be good or not? We'll kick off with you, Mr. Neville. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think we'd rather be at home. I think first game, but I would like to think that it's not too bad a start. Obviously, we slipped up down there when we played them last season, so I think hopefully this time round we'll be a year wiser, and we should hopefully have a nice, comfortable victory to kick us off.
Brilliant. And John, Spurs, Mr. Commode, what are you thinking? Spurs away?
Yeah, it's a tough game to start off with, but I think it's when you think where we may miss out on top three last season, it was games like Spurs where you conceded in the last minute that cost us. I think our third game as well is West Ham away, another game where we conceded late to draw the game. So I think in many ways it'll be a test to see whether we will improve this season. Potentially, can we go to Tottenham and win when we were so close to winning last time and that kind of thing. And I do think, as well as that game, I think it's important that we get off to a good start. I think Chelsea's our first really big game, and that's in early November. Then we got Arsenal after, then Villa early December, then City, and also the running that we have. The last 5 games, I think, are Arsenal at home, Villa away, Tottenham, City and Liverpool, where you can't ask for a tougher running than that, really. So I think it's critical that we get off to a good start this season, because, like I say, we don't play any of the big teams. Obviously, Tottenham are a big team, but the bigger teams until later on, until a couple of months in. So we do need to get off to a good start, and we'll see whether we are capable of improving this season. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just going to say, Charlie, just got to throw this one in there. Saying he's quite right to say, oh my God, I know I mentioned there are other weight loss programs available. We at United do not necessarily particularly choose one. That's just the one that I chose. So there we go. But yes, Charlie, your thoughts?
I quite like it as a first fixture. My ideal opponents would be Chelsea, because I think them first game of the season every year is the best time to play them. But I think it'll be a good indicator of where we are, because Tottenham are that group of teams that are sort of biting at the heels of the 4 above them, aren't they? So it gives us a nice indicator of where we are in terms of the squad that he's got in and how he's setting them up. And then I think afterwards we've got, well, you say this like touch wood, it's sort of like a bit of a nice run-in after that, isn't it? So if you get a good result against Tottenham, and then you've got Reading, West Ham, Brighton, Leicester, Everton. It's you don't want to say it was one of those ones where you're thinking, oh, we could be on 100% all of our points by the time we hit November, and then we have, like I said, tough running up to Christmas. But I like it. I think it'd be a good test to see where we are.
Absolutely. And well, Lanzel's gone for it. He's going £50 for the channel from me. If we get top 3, I think we will, which is nice. I think we'll have a chat with the gaffer and see if there's a charity we could potentially put something like that towards, because I think that would be quite cool.
I think to touch upon it, 3 of our first 4, so all our away games before Christmas, I think we're playing 6 in all. 5 of them we didn't win out last season. I think it'll be interesting to see. That's one area you want to improve this season. So I think it'll be interesting to see what we can do.
Absolutely. Now, what was really interesting, obviously, is what you just said there, Charlie, with regards to being able to get into that run-up. So Chelsea is the next game when we get to the 6th of November. So like you say, we could get to November having won all of those games. Of course, we could have also conceded a few sloppy goals and ended up drawing, or the unthinkable might have happened. But we could quite easily be on, I think that's 18 points, because that's 6 games that would have played there. At that point, we've then got Chelsea and Arsenal. Do you think for all of you there, we've got them Villa, then City, then Liverpool, takes us into the new year? And that's a tricky one as well, because over that period of time, we'll come to the new year. Let's go to Arsenal and Chelsea. Do you think if we get to that point, we'll be in a situation where if we've managed to get a win, either against Chelsea or Arsenal, so we've maybe drew against Chelsea, do you think at that point we'll know whether or not we're just fighting for top 3, or if it's just going to be actually we could be in with a shout of the title there? That really you would think would be the point, wouldn't you? Because if we lose both of those games, realistically, title winners don't lose that many games in the year. Would you agree with that, Nev?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you say, looking at those first 6 games, you'd hopefully like to think that when we come to play to the Chelsea game, we'll hopefully have maximum points, fingers crossed, by then. And then you've really got to be, at home, we've really got to be trying to get the win against them, to show that we're, that we are, major contenders. But it will be sort of a tough one playing them and then Arsenal away the following game. But I think we're due a win over Chelsea in the league now, so I think this has got to be the time when we do it.
Absolutely. Sang, I'm not sure what I did to you there. I read that entirely wrong. Shiny bald head, salmon pink t-shirt, and I felt that said Barry the Bald. I'm like, crikey.
Barry?
If not, it's Barry the Bold, and I take that badge that you've given me there. Those fixtures, as we mentioned, once we got through those, you end up, as it stands, you've got those 2 games. We play City on the 11th of December, so that's obviously our one before Christmas. We then only play 2 games from that point on. We play Liverpool on the 15th of January, Reading away on the 22nd of January, which means we then don't play until the 5th of February, and then there's another gap all the way to the 5th of March. Now, I don't know if you guys recall the way the fixtures were last season, but we had this same sort of thing, didn't we? Where there was just international games getting in the way. That period where there is such a big break, do you think that's a positive thing for the clubs, insofar as you can sort of take a little half-term period and they've got the chance to play, to train, and to try and fix any dramas that you might have had in the first half, which you could argue is what Manchester City did last year? Or do you think that actually this is, which is my opinion, that this is actually a load of toot and they need to sort this out big time, because you can't have that much space between games and really expect competitive games? Johnny K, we'll go to you first and then we'll come to Charlie.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also the other point worth noting also is that I think that the final league game of the season is on the same weekend as the men's final game of the season, and that's like right at the end of May. And you got to remember there's a men's World Cup as well, where there's a gap for about 6 weeks or so. So yeah, it is going to be a long season, and like you say, I think the gap between that month gap between start of February and start of March is just ridiculous. It really is, and I just don't get, like, you're playing 10 games first half of the season, and then you're playing 12 games second half of the season. We know the fixtures can be quite intense, quite close, and when you think of the FA Cup and Conti Cup and all that, there'll be fixture congestion there, and I just don't get why you have to play some Conti Cup games on the weekend. You don't do it in the in the men's. There's no League Cup games on a weekend apart from the final itself, so why do we need to have a weekend for it? So I personally think that you need to get better at it, and I think eventually you might need to look at whether to increase the number of teams in the league, that kind of thing. I know it'll probably happen later down the line, but it is just ridiculous that the amount of gaps in the season when it's pointless, and there's too many international breaks. So it's a problem for the men's, and it's also a problem for the women's. So I don't understand it, but yeah, it's not good. If you want to improve, if you want more people to come to women's game, you're gonna have to close those gaps, because if you're having no games for 3 weeks, people just turn off from it. So you gotta have games regularly in order to attract people and improve the standing in the women's game.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think we're underloading them, and this stupid convoluted Conti Cup format needs to be sorted out as well, because it's just dull. even when they do put those fixtures in, it's the same teams playing each other all the time. It's a load of rubbish. I think it goes all the way down to they need to get it. They need to have 1 relegated this year and 3 promoted is what needs to happen from the Championship, and then you need to have. I think it's mental that the 2 then leagues below the Championship is at the Premier League North and South. Only one of those winners goes up. That's lunacy to me. Both of the 2 winners should go up, and then you can have a playoff with the second and third in both leagues below. To give them something to play for. Like if you're a Durham, they give me the shivers. They do. They're a horrible kicking bogey team. But like every year they're like second or third. Like what's the point? They're never going to get up. Like it's ridiculous. And I think they need to get it up 2 clubs at a time for the next few years, because there's no way it should just be 12 teams, because it just doesn't allow for growth. Financial growth for the teams that are in the leagues below as well is ridiculous. That's part of the reason the Championship is most of it is still part-time. It's mental. It drives me insane, actually. And I think going back to what you said originally, Barry, about does having all these breaks help or not help? I feel like when you're playing really well, you're riding the crest of a wave and you want to keep going. And when you've had a bad game, you just want to get stuck in and go again. You don't want a ridiculous break. You don't want women's international football 1,000 of the year. It's just ridiculous, which the same players will go to and the same players are left at home. So no, I hate all the breaks. I really hate it. And I think it has a negative impact on the interest in the women's game, because you just get into it. You'll have like the odd 4-week period, won't you? And then it's like, oh, it's gone. Just gone for a bit now, just because it has. So I think it's a negative. And the sooner they sort that out, the better.
I think also it'd be beneficial. Sorry. No, but I think also why is it starting in September? The men's start in August. You know, why can't you have the women's start so it's parallel? Now, if you're interested in the women's team, you gotta wait a month after the men's, so it doesn't make any sense to me in that. But but you gotta close the gaps definitely.
Yeah, these all these breaks, they're really frustrating. It's we could do really with having sort of, like you say, probably about 15 teams in the league rather than 12, which is difficult, to get, I suppose, as things are just at the moment, to get 15 teams of a high enough standard. But it's just too short, really, with only 12 teams. And you always seem to lose the momentum, at the worst time. And the league always seems to, it never really sort of really gets going properly. It seems, like say we might play 2 games, 3 games, and then there's nothing for a month nearly. It's a lot. I think I agree with everybody else. It's just really, really infuriating.
Absolutely. So once that happens, we get over that break. The good news is that we then have 9 games that are pretty much in reasonably quick succession. But again, it's a tricky sort of run-in. At that point, if we're still in with a shout, we've got Leicester at home, Chelsea away, West Ham at home, Brighton away. Then comes April, end of April, Arsenal at home, Villa away, Spurs at home, City at home. And then, of course, that final game of the season is Liverpool away. Now, if there is any justice in the world, that's going to be at Anfield. But what's the chances United need a win for the title or even for the top 3 at Anfield? What do you reckon? Is that something that could happen? And is there a sweeter place in the world than to have that opportunity to succeed in that sort of situation? Do you think that rivalry carries over into this game? And how much would it mean to you if that happened? So, Johnny K, you kick off with that one.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you could argue Liverpool need a win to stay up as well.
That would be even better.
Yeah. So, I think you can tell something's going to have something right on that game. And I think it'll be great for the WSL. I really do. And I think those 2 fixtures, final home game at home to City and Liverpool away final game. It's just like that's what football's all about, isn't it? You're just gonna know those 2 games will have something riding on it, and think it's going to be a quality end to a season for the WSL. I think you'll have plenty of drama, and I know we've at times over the last couple of years, obviously we started the season well, and then we faded off towards the end, didn't quite make the top four, the top three the past couple of years. But I honestly think this could possibly be the most unpredictable WSL season. Potentially, I can see plenty of things going on. I think you'll see big teams dropping points to that, and I think I know it's rivalry and all that, but I'm actually glad that Liverpool are back in the WSL because I want to see us reignite that rivalry with them, and I think it'll be brilliant. I can't. It's probably been a very, very long. No, it isn't. Maybe about it was a few years back, but yeah, it's. You can tell it's going to have something mad on, and also the Birmingham Army going down to Liverpool, whether it's I'd say, is it Tranmere they play their games? Is it or wherever it is? But like you say, hopefully it's at Anfield. Although, like I say, it's on the final games of the season. And as the men, so I don't know if Liverpool's men are playing at home that weekend. So if they are, they probably won't. So, but either way, it's going to be a fantastic season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wicked. Now, this is some interesting fighting words. These are saying. I don't know what it is about you coming in here, rattling my cage. If we bottle it, I'll have to leave the internet. My banter would be legendary. I'm still waiting for that saying. When I see some banter that I can legendarily fight against, we'll see how we get on. But no, seriously, we enjoy it. And listen, if we bottle it, we bottle it. At the end of the day, that's what football's all about. And I would have to sit here and take every single one of your pelters, and I will do so with a smile on my face.
Chelsea won 3 in a row, haven't they, in the league? Well, it's got to come to an end at some point.
Their level of investment is just It's just like they can just go and cherry pick, can't they? That's the issue. No one, literally no one else can do that. Like Man City are like a bit of an unknown entity this year, aren't they? It's a bit weird.
For sure.
Like they might.
So Charlie, I'd like your opinion as well on the whole how sweet it would be with the old Liverpool thing. But I'd like you to add to this as well. I think this is a two-parter from Lanzel, and I think the question is positivity, why, and then the other bit he's saying yes, we absolutely can win the league at Anfield. It's obviously been a fair bit of conversation about positivity, and you're a bit like me. You choose positivity for the most part when it comes to signings and things such as that. So just a quick one, really. Positivity in terms of winning the league. Skinner had the same sort of thing. He was very much talking about winning the league, trying to go unbeaten. He was even coming at. Do you think that because I do think I'm all for blue sky thinking, going unbeaten in the league when we haven't even managed to break the top 3 yet seems a little bit of a reach too far. It's a bit like
it's an incoming meme, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like me trying to reach the light bulb to change it without using steps. It's not going to happen really, but I can hope, I can try. Maybe one day if the ceiling falls in. What do you think? Is there such a thing as being too positive with that, or is actually something like that is a good thing because it gives you something to aim for? What's your thoughts?
I think someone like Man United, should they have the resources and the capability in the next 5 years to win the league? Of course they do. As a club, yes. But as it stands now, I can't see it. Like going back to you were talking before about that run of games where we've got like City, Arsenal, blank, like Villa and Chelsea, something like that. What I think how we set up against them as well, how we hold ourselves and how we carry ourselves and how we play in those games will say a lot about our players and our staff's own belief on whether or not we can kick on and compete with these teams. Because last season it felt a little bit like we just crumbled against them on the whole, really. Like there was fear. There was fear at the academy ground when we were playing City. There was fear when we were playing Chelsea. So Yes. Should Man United be competing for the league? Absolutely. Yes, they should. Will they this year and go unbeaten? No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Fair play.
But do you know what's mental? Do you know what's mental in the WSL as well? Losing one game can mean you just don't win the title. Like you're out of it.
Yeah.
Like that's
And you think Arsenal only lost one game last season? That was
and
the
then do it for the league.
Birmingham.
That's insane. Well, that's because there's not enough teams. That's ludicrous lunacy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where they lost the league, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if that's what you wanted from him, Barry. Really, I know sometimes.
Oh, that's great, mate. Thank you, Martin. Yes, 5-2. I would fit in well in the women's game. I feel much more than I.
No,
do.
you wouldn't. You wouldn't if you'd seen.
Well, I mean, not like facially.
Swedish, like Amazons.
Well, it depends where you go, though. I'm sure there's some of them that are more my height.
Portuguese were very small. Portuguese were small.
But, they don't tend to do it in the blokes' games. So, yeah. But that's my thoughts anyway. And we're going to come to Lanzel's question in a minute, but very quickly, Nev, your thoughts on winning the league at Anfield. How sweet would that be? Or even getting Champions League there.
That would be very, very nice. I'd not really thought about it being at Anfield, to be honest. For some reason, I just automatically assume it to be at good old Tranmere. But if that was the case, where sort of we were going for top 3 or second, first place, and they were sort of still scrapping for survival, it would be a real occasion. That would something to dream about.
I would imagine if we've got the chance of winning it, then it absolutely wouldn't be at Anfield. I think they'll take that big old break and go, no, we're definitely not going to give them Anfield at that one because you get the bragging rights and everything.
Just beating them, just going there and beating them will be enough. That in itself. Like obviously you want to go there with something to play for, don't we? But just beating them will be quality.
That would be amazing. Now, here's a question. This is why I like him, because in between all of the banter, he throws out some great questions. So I'm going to ask you this one. If you got the choice, do you do the double over Liverpool or make Champions League?
I feel like there's a right answer to this, and I don't know what it is. John, you go. Yeah,
John, Johnny K.
Champions League.
Yeah.
You choose Champions League?
Yeah.
So would I.
You're going with that as well, Nev?
Yeah. I would think so, yeah. I mean, you'd like to think you'd sort of do both, but if somehow we ended up not winning those games but still got in the Champions League, I think we'd all take that.
See the moment. Liverpool need a win to stay up. United need a point to get in the top 3, and Liverpool winning with 2 minutes to go, 1-0. And Selin whips a corner in. Powers header in. 1-1. Yeah. Liverpool go down. We get top 3. I'll take that.
Love that. Yeah? Amazing.
I thought you were going to say an Olympico there, John K.
Yeah.
Now we are running out of time, so we will answer this question, Ansel, but I'm going to ask the panel just for a one-word answer. You asked for stick or twist. So the question is, if Mark doesn't get third, but he plays his style of play, which we know, do we stick or twist? He thinks we stick because we're still building. So that's what I'm after. Do you stick or do you twist if we haven't made the Champions League at the end of this season? We'll start with you, Nev, because I keep on starting with Johnny K. Let's give him some thinking time.
I think I'd stick. I'd let him have another year. I think he deserves to get 3 years sort of thing. What he did last year. So I would. I'd stick if that was the case. Johnny K.
It depends what way we do it. So if it's like repeated this season, like when you're in the top 3 for ages, then you drop out at the end, then you might have to ask a question mark. But if it's that we only just miss and we have a good end to the season, then I think it might be worth staying with. So for me, it just depends on how the season goes. So.
And Charlie?
I think it depends a little bit. So if like his style of play could be just pass it around the back and lump it forward, which I'm sure it won't be, because we did play some brilliant football last season that was really promising. So I think if we're playing good, exciting football and we're picking up results here or there that we weren't getting before and we're seeing improvement, then you stick. I think if if he gets, so the 3 players we think we've got, Leon, Williams, Paris, if he then gets Garcia, if he gets Letizia, if he gets Tunkara, I think if that's his signings and the team don't perform and there is a substantial drop off again, then I think you have to look at the manager. But I wouldn't want us to be dead reactive, which I think Manchester United can be really super reactive, because then the whole cycle just starts again.
Yeah. I think the other factor you got to bear in mind also, if we don't get top 3, we'll probably lose owner and Russo potentially. So you got to factor that in, how many of the big players will stick around. So you'll have to decide whether you trust Marc to continue the progress, or whether you go, well, we're going to lose some players, we have to rebuild, we might need to get another manager in potentially. So I think you got to factor that as well.
I think you've got loads of good points there. And I think from my point of view, it would depend on where we finish. I think missing out on 3rd isn't the end of the world. I think if you miss out on 3rd by finishing 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe then you're starting to look at, actually, this hasn't worked. Yes, Charlie, you can go to the toilet, but you really should have gone before you came.
No, we don't. Not allowed to go in lessons at my school. If we finish 4th but win a trophy, I would be interested if that would be enough for people,
or even get to a final.
Yeah.
That could be. I want to see like real progress. I think that's the test. Last season was his first season, just to get used to the ground, get used to things and that. But this season, a big season, so we have to see improvement, and obviously we'll know come May next year.
Absolutely. I think that'd be amazing. I really do. It would be an amazing season to watch out for. Loads of games there. If you haven't got yourself a season ticket, go and get one. If you can't get there, then just come and watch every now and again. There'll be loads of people there, and it'll be good to see you. Now's the perfect time to say as well, if you've enjoyed what you're watching so far, and you thought, you know what, these guys talk sense, or even just Charlie talk sense, and the other 3 are quite interested and occasionally give me a laugh, you might like the video. And I'm not too fussed about the liking of the video. Connor's more interested in that. What we really like, though, is if you can push that little subscribe button, if you haven't already, that would be absolutely amazing, because then we'll get to 500 and Connor will leave me alone. And I need that right now, because it's all about, got to get 500. We will get to 500. It will happen naturally. We'll get there, because you're going to push the button, aren't you? Because if you haven't, just do it now.
We're all looking at you who haven't pressed it.
Yes, you. You. That one there. Yes, you know you are. Push the button. Sugar babes would want. So
I was thinking about that.
I was a bit worried.
I was thinking Facebook also you said.
That was horrific. That fell.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dear,
Give a like and subscribe to Rachel Williams for signing. Come on, promote the signing. Come on, she's one of our own.
Absolutely. So there were lots of people there, suggestions for what they're thinking. Lanzell went double over Liverpool. TJ went to the double and Champions League.
Or just a double Champions League win, it looked like to me. 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues, please.
That would be very good, yeah. TJ, there we go. We've got somebody bigging up John with his ideas as well. I'd like to say that. I would love to be the title challengers, but we're not, because we're fighting at the moment with our hands behind our back. It was a good question from Lanzell. Titus, really pleased for you. Nigeria's going to the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Well done, Nigeria. I think it's too early to make predictions, says Marty. Well, it was too late to make predictions today, wasn't it, mate? But good effort. I can't help it, sorry. If it comes to me, it has to come out. I think it depends on circumstances. We have a big drop-off. We have to look at the manager. Lanzell agrees. TJ would stick because he's a good egg as well. Marty thinks he implements his system, finishes 3rd, and can't win the Conti Cup or finish 3rd and get Champions League. He should be gone. So Marty definitely thinking that. TJ
it's easy to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. Welcome. Nice to see you, John. Hope you enjoyed your chicken, mate. Devil's advocate, third or bust. I don't think we're going bust if we don't get third, to be honest with you. But, you know, I think we can get over that one. The Johns are outweighing the rest tonight, absolutely. Even with my Weight Watchers / Slimming World, we're all good on that one. If we finish fourth, good football and a cut run. Even if we didn't win, I stick. Although Lanzell says if the results from football aren't there, then obviously he might twist. Marty not convinced that we're building, although we do have a foundation, so it's the start of building. But we'd hope that we would need to build further on top of that. You're absolutely welcome, TJ. See, it was chicken curry. I knew there was going to be something in there. And Lanzell thinks we're going to beat them 2-1 at Kings Meadow, which will be absolutely superb. So we're nearly done. Just before we do, I need to plug something. And that is, of course, the joys of the Predictions League. And here it is. We've had loads of predictions going on over the course of time. And as you can see here they are. Oh, go too far, Barry. Let's come back. So, very, very delicate. And as you can see, there's been lots of results put in there. We've updated some of the ones there. Don't worry, Marty. I've got the one you sent through. I will add that in a moment. I've been a little bit busy doing the show. But when I get to it, that will be in there. But it leads to this. Look at this. Charlie is on 33 points. She's got 4 lots of 4 points, which equates basically to half of her scores. And it's the reason why she is absolutely flying. TJ's done a great job. Connor's done a great job. They're both second there with 23. Johnny K, the commode, is there at 4th with 22 points. Here's me sitting in the middle. You know, Marty just below. She could have got above if only she had predicted. Hannah Pete, DJ goes there as well. And Ellie trying her best to come back from having similar problems, which I think is basically Wi-Fi not working as well as it could do as she gets herself around. It's really been working well. I've really enjoyed it. And I'm really pleased that you
I'm
guys...
loving it.
I can imagine why. I absolutely can. So Johnny K and Charlie, I just want to say really to you guys, thank you for joining in. But what's your opinion's been of the prediction leagues? It's something that we're thinking of maybe doing for the WSL season. I've not prepped you for any of this. So what's your thoughts? Is it something that you think's worthwhile? Do you enjoy it? And is it something that encourage people to join in if we do that next year? So
yeah, definitely. I think I'm in the middle of doing an Excel sheet with all the fixtures and all that. I'm halfway through it up until Christmas and that. So I think it's worked very well on Twitter. And I think if people in the comments and that want to engage, even Sam can join it because she's a Chelsea fan and we'll be predicting every game in the WSL. So it'll be good fun, I'm sure. And obviously it's run pretty well with the Euros, and it should be good. And if you just want to support it, then obviously I'm sure we'll give information out near the time and that, because obviously not till September, but I think it's all a good bit of fun.
You know, it's been really good. It's like I was at the Netherlands-Portugal game. I was at LSV last night, and honestly, that last 5 minutes, I was just like, "Please, no one score! Please, no one score! Please, no one score!" So every game's more important. I would shoot myself. I would shoot myself in the foot in the WSL one because I'll refuse at any point to put down that Man City or Liverpool are going to win any games ever. That's why I'm into fantasy football, because I refuse to put Liverpool or Man City players in my team. I'm not doing that. But yeah, it's really good fun. Definitely get on that Excel, John. Get it sorted. WSL predictions.
I'm getting it. So I'll send it over. Who shall send it over to? Connor or Barry?
Well, they're both Excel nerds.
You know what? I'm going to take ownership. I'm going to say send it to me. I'll fact check it, make sure it's all good, and then I'll tell Connor what we're doing.
I'll get that sorted then. So obviously we'll send out invites close to the time, and that maybe we can have like a little social chat group on WhatsApp that people want to join in, that kind of thing, and then we can ensure it's run smoothly in that. So get the contract signed, Connor.
Yeah, well, it feels like he's ready. He's saying that there. Marty seems to think you should get the bad luck award. We've got to get the violins out now. This is an interesting idea. And honestly, Sang, I've been thinking about what we can do, because the ones I do normally for my little friendship group that I've been doing in preparation for all of this, I do little trophy presentations for. The winner gets one and the loser gets one.
How about if
we do that? So at the moment, I've just got to think about what we can do. But we want people from other clubs, all that sort of thing. It'd be brilliant, because it adds to the fun, adds to the banter, and adds to everything that we're after. So yeah, I mean, that would be fabulous.
How about if we can get in contact with the team, potentially one way or another, the winner gets a signed jersey from the squad
for their team or something? That'd be amazing. And to be fair, Marty, you are right. I've missed out by one a lot of times.
Get in contact with the team. Let's see if they're open to that. So even the players can, although that wouldn't be good, but if the players predicted it, could be match fixing, couldn't it?
There you go, Lanzell thrown in. It's like one of those raffles that you do, isn't it? So that would be great fun. Connor's noted. Oh, a signed jersey now goes Sang. This one, just got to say, John, it's hard enough work just trying to get their scores in. Coming up with fantasy, that can you imagine? Oh, I've put on a batcher down as 100,000. No, she's worth 200,000.
When I run it with my mates, Barry, I'll say all the predictions that game week. If you miss the first match, you don't predict any games. That's it. That's how I did it with my friends.
So there you go.
Yeah. So if you miss the deadline, it's your own fault.
Absolutely, unfortunately, or if the technology lets you down. So there we go. That's the prediction league. John, would you reckon you'll join the WSL one?
Yes, definitely.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Loads of people get involved. Get some people in on the show. It'll be fabulous. So the football's about to kick off, if it hasn't already. It doesn't seem to be on BBC One today, which is oh no, there it is. BBC One, France v Belgium. It's 0-0. 4 minutes gone. Everybody's going to want to go and watch that. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to go and order a pizza. Whatever it is you're doing, I've had a great night. We discussed everything. Williams, welcome to United. Smith, please stay. Please don't go would be the song of choice on that one. We're wishing Martha Harris good luck at Birmingham. We've discussed the fixtures. We don't want the breaks. Sort it out. Get more teams in the league. Stop faffing about. Now's the time. Get it sorted for next season. And of course, the predictions league is going strong. Keep an eye on what's going on Twitter. Is Charlie going to win it, or is she only having a good first half of the season? Is she going to choke and miss out on Champions League after all that?
We'll have to work out the knockouts game. What if games go to penalties and that?
Oh, well, don't worry. I've already got that one. That one's down. I already know how to deal with penalty shootouts, but it's a trickier score situation. So let's just get you lot through the group stages before I start confusing you with how I work those ones out. But yeah, so thank you, everyone. Brilliant to have you all in the comments. Like and subscribe, boys and girls. Like and subscribe. You know who you are. All right. But thank you very much. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us. Speaking sense as always. Johnny K, excellent to have you as well. Johnny Nev, great to have you. It's been superb. Enjoy France. It's still 0-0. You haven't missed anything. Have yourself a merry little Christmas and a very happy New Year.